welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it so much. Today is going to be a crazy video. It is another 30 and 30 and it's all highlighters, and I have 10 miscellaneous highlighters, 10 from Wet n Wild and 10 from Becca, because I have so many Becca and Wet n Wild highlighters. I was like, I'm just going to try to get them all in, and I still have more Wet n Wild highlighters. I probably could have done a 30 and 30 just on Wet n Wild, which is kind of insane. We're gonna get right into it though, because there's so many of them. So what I do with these 30 and 30s is I wear a different one for each day for 30 days. I compare them, I take notes, I have them all written down here, what each one was, my thoughts on it, whether I wanted to declutter it or not. Spoiler, there's not a lot of decluttering with this one. Sometimes I get some that declutter, not this one. I found a lot that I really like. We're gonna start with a kind of famous one. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Gold Bar in Holly Gold Head. I thought this one was very pretty, but the one issue I did find with it is that it can show texture on the skin. When I put it up here, it I just had a little texture, and I don't have a lot of texture up here, like lower down for sure, but it did show a little bit of texture. It's so pretty though. I'm gonna keep it because it took me forever to find it. Like, I seriously searched and searched for it, but it's really pretty. I do like it. Then we have Becca. This is one of the most special ones I feel that I have. And I love the Becca packaging. That's part of it. Of course, one of the reasons why I like them. And then this is what it looks like. It is Parisian lights. It does have the Eiffel Tower in there, and it has those little sparkling lights underneath. I'm going to swatch right underneath the Eiffel Tower because I don't want to use this one so much that I actually like damaged the embossed thing on it. I love Becca highlighters for a couple reasons. One, they just look really beautiful and natural on the skin, but also there's just something special about them. Like, if you can see, like, it blends in and just gives a beautiful glow. It's not as obvious as that first one, but you can definitely still see it. It's so pretty. I really like this one. This is probably one of my favorite highlighters in my collection. Next up, we have a Colourpop one. This is from the My Little Pony collection. This is the shade Trickles. I like the shade. It's not my favorite formula, and it's okay, but it's like their Super Shock formula kind of, but in pressed form. I don't know. It's not as special as some of the other ones that I have, or that I'm already talked about, or that I'm going to be talking about. It's just it's a fine highlighter. It's a highlighter. Then we have Wet n Wild. My goodness, they did the set of 4 of the elements. This is Earth, and I did talk about all 4 of them, and a couple of them I don't like nearly as much as the other ones, but I'm not gonna declutter them because they're a collection and they all feel like I feel like I need them all, if that makes sense. So there it is down here. It is really pretty. It's really sparkly. Like, if you want something that's going to have major like sparkle and glow, that's a good one. It's going to be a lot more out there than some of these other ones that are more subtle. Then we have just a little baby one. This is Becca Moonstone. This is what the regular packaging looks like. It has that brown with like kind of a grip to it. And that's what it's going to swatch as. It looks nice on skin, really nice on skin, but it did seem to fade out during the day, which for some people, they probably want something that's not going to be sticking around and really out there all day. But I like a glow all day. All right, we're moving on to a Cover FX one. This is the shade Moonlight. And it doesn't look like much of anything in the pan. It's a very natural looking highlighter. It's not going to be super glowy, and it lasts well. I said it was pretty, but it's It's not as exciting as some of the other ones. I mean, you do get a slight glow. This is a good one for when you're like at work or when you have something where you don't want to have like that bling on your cheeks, but you still want the prettiness of a highlighter. That's a good one. We're gonna go on to Wet n Wild Blossom Glow next. This is one of just their regular pans. They have so many of these in so many different shades and not finishes, but just different colors as well as shades. That's what it looks like. This is a really pretty pink one. As you can see, the difference between the two, this one is really blinding and glowy. It's going to give you a really bam highlight, but I like that it's really pale because especially a lot of these, like, I don't care if it's a slightly different color. Like, I'm not trying to find something lighter than my skin tone to do my highlight. I just want that glow. That's what I'm looking for. And if I was looking for something super pale, I would not have very many options available to me at all because, I mean, look, I'm white. I'm very, very white. There's not much you can do other than stark white. Then we're gonna do Becca. This is Amethyst Flashes Geo. This is one of their light chasers, I think. Yep, that's what it's called. So it's supposed to change colors. I don't know if it does. I found these ones are more powdery than the other Beccas. There it is. As you can see, it's more of a blush, really. It's quite dark on my skin. I didn't do it really on my nose or my Cupid's bow like I normally do because it was a little too dark, but it looked nice on top of my blush, kind of like a blush topper highlighter. It's not really glowing or showing much. I don't think they're the best. I'm going to keep it because it's pretty. I like the packaging, but I wouldn't recommend those light chasers. I don't think they're as good of quality as their original Becca highlighters. Then we have one of my favorite highlighters, the Master Chrome by Maybelline. These are amazing. This one's in the shade Molten Gold. This is the original one. I have several of these in my collection. I'm pretty sure I've talked about them. Look at that gold. Like, it's so gorgeous. And it's a bam. It's definitely in your face. I do really like the way it looks on the skin. I just find it's a really pretty highlighter. Definitely would recommend you looking for any of the Master Chromes. I like all of them that I've tried. I've heard some of them aren't as smooth as other ones, but I haven't found that, but I didn't get the ones that they found that way either, so that could be part of the reason. All right, next we have one that is kind of famous in the beauty community, Champagne Pop by Becca. It was originally a collab with Jaclyn Hill. I was not into makeup when that came out, so I had no clue about it. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's going to be more subtle, slightly more subtle than that Molten Gold, but it still has that bling to it. It's a little bit more friendly of a shade, so I feel like a lot more skin tones could use it, but it is really pretty, and I do like it. I love highlighters, so that's why I had a hard time finding some to declutter. All right, moving on to our next five, we have another Colourpop My Little Pony collaboration. This one is called Starflower. I had to think about it, and people got upset by the names and stuff because they didn't feel like the names matched, but I know they matched the original My Little Ponies back in the day. This one is not as, this is a harder formula. I feel like it doesn't feel as wet as the other one that I just swatched from Colourpop. I feel like this one may have dried out a little bit. I'm not quite sure, but I do like it better, and that could be just me. I like the shift that it has. You can kind of just see, like, it fleets, it comes in and out, which I think is really fun with highlighters. If you have that and somebody's like, oh, maybe you do, maybe, I don't know. I like that. If you like that, you might like it, that shade. You might not like that shade. You might not like when it does that either. Then we have Botanic Dream, Blossom Glow Botanic Dream. I always get these two mixed up. This one is a slightly darker pink shade, and I do like this one as well. It's that Wet n Wild, really super glowy formula. I'm probably gonna have to wash my hands. I have the world's worst makeup remover wipes right now, and I'm super disappointed in them, and I should probably have taken them back, but I feel committed now, and I just want to get through them, put them in my empties, and complain about them then. But I still have a little residual glow, I feel like, on my hand. I really like that one. I love Wet n Wild highlighters. That's why I have so many of them. They do a really nice job, which is nice, like, because they're like $5, $6 sometimes. Then we have another one from Becca. This is Prosecco Pop. It feels like it really stands out. It's a little too dark for my skin, but I don't even care. It's like a in your face. This is probably the closest to the Molten Gold by Maybelline in terms of shades. I love it. It's so pretty. I know. I feel like I'm saying everything. The Starflower, I said, lasts really well on the skin. Like, it didn't fade as the day went on. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This next one is going to be very obvious as well. And I love the formula. I've already talked about this formula. I just talked about it a second ago. And I said it's really pretty. This is Molten Rose Gold by Maybelline, that Master Chrome. As you can see, like, my little design in it is fading away because I've used it so much. It's beautiful. I love a pinky highlighter though. I know some people don't like the pinks. I am a pink girl though. I love pink. It's one of my favorite colors. It's been one of my favorite colors since I was little. I had to get over it for a little bit because Dolores Umbridge really ruined pink for a while. But I feel like I've moved past that now, that trauma, and I can embrace pink once again. This last one in this group of 5 is another Wet n Wild. This was a limited edition, but I've noticed that some of these showed up at Halloween again this year. This was a spring collection. Go figure, skulls, right? Because nothing says spring like skulls. This is the shade Purple Ashes, and it is probably the most unusual of all of the Wet n Wilds that I have. It has a purple shift to it. Let's see, do you want to show up? I don't know. I like it. It's not my favorite because I don't tend towards purple ones as much, or blues. I like golds and like lighter shades and pinks, but that's my choice for a highlighter. I'm going to go wash this off and try to get rid of the base of glitter that I have that's kind of caking up on my hand, and I'll be right back. At the halfway mark, we have a beautiful limited edition, very small Becca highlighter. They did this in collab with Glam Glow, and they had a set available at Nordstrom's anniversary sale last year. This is Rose Glow. It is so pretty. I love the geometric pattern. They did that in several of their highlighters, like the Lilac Geode, and I can't remember what the other one is called. It's a little bit darker of a pink, but oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I really love it. I wish they would put that out in a full size, because I would buy a full size in this, because I've been sparingly using this because I don't want to run out of it. Like, that's one I feel like I could actually pan. Then moving back to Wet n Wild, so like our high end to low end to drugstore, not low end. This is the shade Air. This is one of the Elements as well. The packaging, I mean, always leaves something to be desired with Wet n Wild because they do feel cheap, but the products inside definitely don't, which kind of makes up for it. This, I feel, what did I write about this one? Use a very light hand, and it's really shimmery. Like, that's what I feel when I put this on. I don't think it's going to show up, but there is like traces. It wants to kind of sit on top of the skin instead of really sink in like other highlighters. It's a beautiful color, but you just can't use very much, and you have to be very like tapping off that brush and really working it into the skin. It takes more work than the other Wet n Wild highlighters that I've had. Where are we now? Milani. I have 2 Milani highlighters. These are some of the first things I've ever had from Milani. I tried a blush that I returned because I didn't like it. It was one of the flower ones, and they were just too powdery for me. But I tried out a couple of their highlighters, and Oh my goodness, I wish I had more because I would buy more. These are the Hypnotic Lights. This first shade is Flashing Light, and it is a pink shade. I think it's so beautiful. It's kind of that peachy pink. So if you think of Papa Don't Peach and those type of shades, it really complements well. It looks beautiful on the skin and a lot more subtle than you can see that first highlighter right there. So those I would definitely buy more of if they made more of them. Then we're going back to Becca. This is another limited edition, and this is one that I do have a backup of, which makes me very happy. This is Royal Glow. Let's see, we'll turn it this way. As you can see, it has a crown in it. It is for England. They did like a set. There's a Spanish one, there's a German one, there's a French one, there's this one. I wish they would do like all the European countries. I would buy them all. I love Becca's formula. Like, I'm kind of addicted to Becca's formula. That's why I have so many of these. And I did pick up a second of this one because I found it at TJ Maxx. I was so excited and I was like, buying a backup. It is a little darker. It's more along the lines of Prosecco Pop, so it might be, you might think it's too dark for your skin tone, but I am happy wearing it because I don't necessarily want something, like I said, that is actually lighter than my skin tone. It's so beautiful. I really, really like it. I think if you can splurge and get Becca highlighters, I feel like they're some of the best that are out there. And they're not as expensive as some of the other highlighters that I have. Then we have this little guy, like these I'm pretty sure are even more expensive. This is Hourglass. This is the Ambient Strobe Light in Incandescent. And that's what it looks like. It's super pale. It is a very pale one. It is very pretty, but it does not have like that. It's more of an actual, like if you're trying to do light and shade on your skin, that's what it's going to be. It does not have that, you know, glow to it, which I like a glow more than a non-glow. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, that might be one. I'm not going to declutter it because it's the only Hourglass one that I have. It's not in a palette. And I got some real good compliments on one that I was wearing that was from a palette. So I'm going to give it some more time. It might just look better on the face than it does like a white swatch on the hand. Moving back to Wet n Wild, this is the shade Fire. Like I said, I do have all 4 of these and I wore them all this month. I thought this is a pretty formula. It's really like shimmery though. And then what else did I put about it? Trying to find it. Does show texture as well. So this is another one like the gold one that shows texture, and it could just be that it's the shade of them that is more likely to show texture than other ones. Back to Milani, this one I was like, I love the play of color. I really think it's awesome. This is the shade Beaming Light, and it is a purple shade. And it's one that has like that shift to it, that duochrome shift. And as you can see, it kind of has like an iciness to it. That's why I really liked it. And I find like that's really unusual for the drugstore. I think it's an awesome one because of that. Then we're going to one that you have to be super careful with. I already had one that was smashed when I got it, and this one's crumbling, and I've been treating it very nicely. This is Becca Dreamsicle. And as you can probably see, like there are cracks in it. It does not, I don't know why this one is so much like more delicate than the other Beccas, because I haven't had that problem with any of my Beccas before. It is a very darker shade. It does look like a dreamsicle. As you can see, like it's similar in color to that Fire, but I feel like it doesn't show the texture on your skin. It looks really pretty, and it's a great one for when you're doing like a more peachy blush. Like it pairs really well with that. This one, Boozy Lunch by Wet n Wild. These were originally a collab with Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas. I think these are fun. I'm not a big fan of like animal prints and stuff, but I don't know. There's just something about the way that they created this just makes me happy. It is a nice shade. I think it's a little too dark for me, and I think that's why. And it's a little bit more subtle of a sheen than some of the other ones. It's not as blinding, like you can see, like blinding, not as blinding. And I think that's why I reached for them, but just not as much. And plus the packaging, like this is huge. This is a really big one compared to the Becca. Like you can see it's even bigger than the Becca packaging, which is not my favorite. But I do like that it's different than everything else that I have. Then we're gonna go to Winky Lux. This is the shade Charm. It is a holographic highlighter. I got this one in an Ipsy bag. I don't think I probably would have bought Winky Lux. Otherwise, there is what it looks like. What did I say? I said it was okay. The color and the shade are okay. It's nothing like overly special. This is one, you know what, that reminds me a lot of the Hourglass. I'm not gonna declutter it because I'm not really sure at this point, and I don't want to just declutter something to declutter something. That seems like beside the point. Like if it's something that you genuinely don't like and you're not going to wear, and you know somebody else who's going to wear it and enjoy it, that's fine. But just to get rid of stuff, which I feel like a lot of YouTubers do. And I mean, when you're sent massive amounts of stuff, I'm not sent anything. I get things from influencer once in a while, but that's about it. And you can get those too. I'm not going to throw out something or give something away just because I feel like I need to, because I have the pressure from outside. So if you're upset that I'm not decluttering a lot, I'm sorry, but that's just not me. That's not, like, what's the point of throwing money out that you've already spent? I'd rather keep it and use it. Nope, I have one more Becca after this. I had to look. This is Berlin Girl Glow, and it has the little gate in Berlin. This is making me tear it up a little bit because the day I'm filming this, I know this is going to take a while to get out because I'm pre-filming things and I had just a lot of backup. But today is the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and I don't know, like I had goosebumps like thinking about it, and like, oh my gosh, I grabbed the Berlin thing and I decided to film this instead of a 30 and 30 on lipsticks, which was the other thing I could have done. Anyway, I can't believe it's been 30 years since the fall of the Berlin Wall. This one might be my favorite of them, of the three that I've shown from different countries, because it is the most versatile and the one that's closest to my skin tone. Like, just look at how beautiful that is. It's so pretty, and it's a little more subtle, but yet it still has that presence. I like that one, and now I'm wishing I had worn that highlighter today, but I'm doing something else with highlighters today. Then we have Wet n Wild Crown of My Canopy. This is a very dark highlighter, and it's kind of glittery. Like, compared to a lot of the other highlighters, I feel like it's just too glittery and too dark for me. So I am actually, this is the one I'm decluttering. So 29 highlighters out of 30 I'm keeping, but that's okay. Like, that happens. And that one I probably wouldn't have bought, but when I first started, there was 2 highlighters out and I wanted both of them, and I bought duplicates of that because I couldn't remember what the other one was called, and I can't remember what it's called right now either. But yeah, that one I'm decluttering because it's just too dark. It doesn't work for my skin tone. Then we have Rose Quartz Flashes Seashell by Becca. This one is so much nicer than that first one that I told you. I said it's so very pretty, and I really love the shade, and it's so pretty. And this one I feel like has a better shifting quality to it, at least on my skin. Maybe if you were darker skinned than I am, that other one might shift better for you, but I really like this one. This next one, if I didn't have the other 3 elements and wasn't going to be keeping the other 3 elements, I would declutter this one, but I want to keep it because it's a set of 4, even though I probably won't wear this one. It is water of the Wet n Wild Elements collection. My mom was so nice. I was saying that I wanted them, but they were a Walmart exclusive. She actually went to Walmart to find these. She found all 4 of them. I was super impressed. I think it's too blue. I didn't like how it looked on. It's a little glittery as well. So that's that one. It's not my favorite, but you know, I'm keeping it because of that. Final one is from Givenchy. This is the one that I keep in the box because it's super fancy. I just, you know, I don't really buy a lot of designer makeup. I bought this one though because it was so gorgeous. The packaging, it's so classy. It's so pretty. You open it up. It has a little like lid over it. I've kept the lid. I keep all of the stuff. Like it stays really nice. This is what it looks like. It has a beautiful design on it. I hate to even like swatch or put my like brush in it, but I do. This is shimmery pink. There are 2 shades. This is like a $42 highlighter. It's the most expensive highlighter that I have out today, and it might be the most expensive highlighter that I own if I'm thinking about it. All right, we're gonna swatch it. This is probably I'm gonna say this is my favorite of all of them because it has that glow, but it's a natural glow, so you just look lit from within, which I guess is kind of the point of highlighters. I just like looking shiny and having pretty sparkles on my face some days. It looks amazing on. I feel like it's probably one of the best looking highlighters on me, as well as one of just the prettiest ones that I have. So I would really recommend that one. But like I know that there's a lot of people that can't afford a $42 highlighter. Like I should never have bought a $42 highlighter. I honestly I can't afford it, but I bought it anyway because I have a makeup addiction and I'm trying to get better about it, but it's very hard. But even like, I think the Milanis are really beautiful. I think those would be a good drugstore alternative. I think Colourpop probably has some nice ones. I'd like to try more from Colourpop because I only have those 2 and they're not exactly, you know, everyday colors for me or fit my skin tone. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have you tried any of these highlighters? What is your favorite highlighter shade? What is your favorite like tone for highlighter? What is your favorite formula? Let me know down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for sitting through all this, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.